welcome back to another Music Maker lesson. Happy Funk Friday. I wanted to talk today about minimalism and a little bit of simplicity and how that works within kind of like a band context. Because a lot of people they'll like ask me how I do such hard stuff, and for me, I feel like it's really simple, and maybe some of it seems like a little complex, but it's really just about doing the simplest possible thing in the moment, the thing that I think is kind of the best thing for the music. So I wanted to use this tune, Pusher Man by Curtis Mayfield, as an example, because the main groove, and actually the whole song, like the B section of the song, it just goes to a 4 minor chord. That's like all that it is, and then it goes right back to this section. So it's such a great song to talk about for like simplicity and groove, because it checks all of the boxes for all of those things, for being really really easy rhythmically and like notes wise. There's really not a lot going on with it, and in terms of like guitar parts, they're really really simple. It's like that one little chord, and then he plays the vocal melody. It's not really much of a guitar solo at all in there, and yeah, so like really the complexity comes like when you like mix all the ingredients in the pot, so to speak. So it's kind of like when you like mix the bass line and the drum part and all of it together. And if you kind of break it down, I don't know really how to break down keyboard parts and how easy or how simple they are. I know that there's one on the track that's filling out some of that as well. But like I specialize like in drums and bass and guitar. And like the bass line, it's like as easy as bass lines go. It's root, and then the root again, and then flat 7, and then the 5th. And then he kind of hits the 4 for a second, but I kind of like, I don't know, I try not to analyze too much. I try to feel it more, but when I do analyze that, that's the 4 of the key, and he's really not sitting on it. It's just like meant almost like as a tension note to lead back to 5, which leads us back to 1. So it's kind of like, I feel like it kind of serves that purpose analytically. So that's like the whole bass line. The whole guitar groove is just this. It's one silly long chord, you know, but it just, again, like the way it mixes together is like that. And then for drums, you know, obviously like the feel on this kind of thing is always something that's really difficult to get perfect and to get correct. But if you just kind of were to analyze what it is, it's eighth notes and quarter notes. I don't think there's an easier rhythm that a drummer could possibly play than to do that. And that, you know, I'm by no means saying that that's an easy drum part. I'm just saying that breaking it down into quarter notes and eighth notes is you know, again, that's like pretty elementary stuff. Like every drummer that studies basic drumming can do quarter notes and eighth notes. So it's really then it's just about that point of like, again, it's mixing it all together and adding it in the pot. And I even feel like it comes that way to like with soloing too. Like I don't know if any of what I just did really seems like it's that complex, but I'm really just taking things in their simplest possible form and playing them that way. So if you can always try to do that in your music, I think that's a really good thing. And just something that, like, just case in point, and I haven't done this in a long time, maybe time will come again to do something like this, but I used to run a project called Josh Klein and Friends, and we used to play 3-4 hours of music, and it was always amazing turnout. It was always just an amazing crowd, and it was always just great energy, and the music always just sounded really on point. And I can say the thing that I made those band mates do every single time, my rules for the band were this: you can play whatever you want, but make sure that it sounds good to you. Make sure that it's the easiest thing that you can play. And I used to play with some really good people. I don't think that they were playing like things that are easy for other people, but for them it was the simplest possible, most grooving, most fitting thing for the song that they did. So again, it was like about keeping it very, very simple. And then I would give everybody kind of like a turn, and that's when you could do your more complicated stuff. And we as a band would all, the rest of us, keep it simple, but follow your energy and or whatever, however you want to think of that. But to follow the soloist. While keeping it simple, so like we would keep it simple, but maybe increase the volume to go with there, But most of it is just really, really kind of thinking of it in that light. So like for this one, when I think of like soloing on it, I just think of doing the melody, the vocal melody. Maybe seeing if there's some other inflections. Right? You can do some things like that. You can play the melody back. Right? You can do all those like cool phrasing tricks with that vocal melody. And I tend to think there with it. Most of everything that I do is melodically based. So if you're interested in any more of that stuff, I do more of that deeper on the website. So go check that out. I'm not going to really do any like how to play this stuff today. It's more just a keep it simple thing. And just one more thing on that note. Something one of my teachers said to me one time was, as a musician, it's not about what things you know. It's about how do you use the things that you know in a musical way. And to that sense, again, it's about keeping it simple. We don't want to hear, as an audience member, we don't want to hear you play what you're working on in the practice room. We want to hear you play what you play amazing. Even if you are tired of it, we probably have never heard it before. So you should play that stuff with all of the grit and all of the soul that you have. And then maybe bring out that thing that you're working on in the practice room today. Bring that out in a month when it's like fully cooked. You know what I mean? So that said, yeah, I'm gonna play you out, but keep it simple. Maybe see you out there. There's a link to my website in the description. Maybe see you out there. All right. Have a great one. Happy Funk Friday.